Hi, this is Ed Breniger, Circle of Impact Leadership. Today marked the last day of the 2018 Peter Drucker Global Forum. It was a quite interesting day of discussion about a wide variety of topics that I think are all important for us. So I'm not going to attempt to cover the full range of issues that were discussed. I'm just going to give you a sense of my own place in this. Because one of the reasons I come to something like this is I want to hear acknowledged thought leaders, I want to hear CEOs, I want to hear people who are making a difference in the world. And I want to have conversations with them and in conversations with people who are unknown to the whole world because they're also people of impact. And I also come to measure my own thought process, my own perception, against these people's, their perception of what's going on. And for you to know what I'm thinking, the simplest way is for you to read my book, Circle of Impact, Taking Personal Initiative to Ignite Change. So let me capture three things from today that I think may be helpful for you. There is not uniformity of thought about where we are in the world today and where we're going. And I would say there are kind of three different approaches. One is we're headed for disaster. There is cynicism and pessimism about the future. And I think it's due to an investment in a belief that the institutions of the last 100 years, which have been increasingly brought to a point of creating a more centralized structure to the management of finance and governance in the world at a global level, that those are under great stress, some from outside sources and some from within, but they're under great stress, and there is a perception that their decline is going to leave a vacuum which is going to be very significant in the world. So that's one perception. A second perception is people see that, but they don't take a pessimistic view of that. They see that as sort of a natural ebb and flow, pendulum swing type of transition through time. And so they see maybe taking more incremental type of steps of change that are important as kind of ongoing improvement, which has been a very traditional business philosophy, constant, continuous, ongoing improvement, and that's what is needed, and we must work at that. And I have great sympathy for that, because I think that's a very positive approach to change. Then there's the third approach, which is that we are at a kind of ending point of a long period of organizational development. There's epochal change going on, and the world is changing in ways that are significant from a human dimension point of view, as well as from a technological point of view, and that these things are rapidly happening, and the world that we have known even just over the last 10 years will not look like it in another 10 years. This is my own view. I see rapid change happening, and that we must change the way we are structured in our businesses and organizations and society if we're going to do it. And we do it by elevating the potential of individuals within structures, within organizations, to take leadership initiative to have an impact that makes a difference that matters. That's my own personal opinion, and that's what is the core belief of my book, Circle of Impact. So that's the first thing to say to you. The second thing is that I use this event to hear what thought leaders are saying, what CEOs are saying, and I'm using it as a measure against my own thought. And what I take away is that my sense that we have reached a point of very high complexity and very high rates of fragmentation within organizational structures is an accurate picture of the world. I see that in a most simple way of the division or the separation between our ideas, our relationships, and the structure of organizations, where ideas and relationships tend to be subordinate or not irrelevant to the function of structures. And that the key to fixing that is to bring alignment to those three dimensions by focusing on what is the impact of all three of these, and that you then marshal the efforts of everybody within the company or within the organization to achieve that impact. So there is a real sense that we are at a stage of fragmentation, and that we must do some serious work in bringing change. Probably for me, the most interesting presentation was by, and I can't remember or even translate his name, but by the CEO of Haier, which is a Chinese appliance manufacturer, where he talked about how they have treated change within their structure to elevate the work of their people. And he talked about three different types of disruption: disruption of the role of the individual in the company, the disruption of the organization as a whole, and then the disruption of the compensation system that they have in the company. And I think those kinds of disruptions are healthy because it forces people to step back and look at what is this all about. And maybe in some cases they may say, well, this is not for me, I need to go somewhere else. Or they step up and say, I like this because it elevates my sense of respect, their sense of respect and dignity that I feel coming from the company. And when you are able to provide that, then trust is the result. And when you have trust, people are much more willing to take personal initiative to create impact. So that's the second thing. The third thing is that there were a number of young people who were there, and I had conversations with many of the people who were participants in the Peter Drucker Challenge. You can go to druckerchallenge.org to find their essays that they've done over the years. And to have conversations with these young people gives me tremendous hope about the future. They're not starry-eyed idealists. They're very realistic, but they have a sense of determination and a sense of, we're going to do some really important, great things. And I know that in many places, these are millennial young people. In many places, millennials are maligned for being slackers or lazy or simply living off their parents' couches. This is not what I'm finding from these young people. And they encourage me and they inspire me in ways that I rarely find. So I'm grateful for that. So I'm leaving with hope. I'm leaving inspired. I'm leaving with a commitment to talk more about how we can elevate the role of the individual as a person of impact in the life of organizations, in the life of communities, in the life of society as a whole. And I would like for you to join me in that, in having a conversation so that we can talk about this to the point where people understand it and find ways in their own settings to be able to bring this about. You can find me at edbrenniger.com. I'll have a newsletter coming out next week. I'll say more about what has transpired this week, and sign up for my newsletter so you can receive that. And if you have questions, let me know, because the mid-monthly newsletter will come out a couple weeks later, and I'll take some question that has been given to me and I'll apply the circle of impact to that. It's sort of a mini case study where you're looking over my shoulder as I use the circle of impact, because I want you to know how to use it, because when you learn how to use it, you'll find that you'll have a tool that can solve every problem that you face. No, that's a bold statement, but it really is true. I guarantee it. So this is all for tonight from Vienna, Austria. I'm Ed Brenniger. I'm a leader for leaders. I'm a leader for you. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.